All right, well, this is exciting. Justin and I have preached before, but never, ever together. And so we'll see how this goes. We're both very different people. We're the opposites that married, right? So we'll do it. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Is this thing on? There it is. Okay. Could we turn down these lights a little bit? Got a glare going. All right. Well, welcome to Wednesday night at Church 212. Thank you so much for coming out. Really appreciate you seeing here. My name's Justin. This is my wife, Lindsay. We've been married 19 years, 1 month, and 10 days. There it is. Yeah. Yeah, because it's easy because our anniversary is the end of November, so that's how I figured that out there. We first got married in 2004, and we moved to Oklahoma to be youth pastors shortly after. And shortly after that, we lived in Kansas City. And, we've always been involved in ministry. Lindsay's a graduate of a Bible school. I have a degree in theology. And so we've always been involved with the church and ministry. And so it was one night about 12 years ago, we're driving in the car, and she's like, oh, hey, we're going to a marriage conference right now. I was like, what? We are? She just kind of sprung it on me. She said, yeah. I said, oh, okay, great. But that was not my feeling, right? But I was like, okay, great. Sure, it's going to be great. No, it'll be good. It'll be fine. And so we went, and I'm so thankful we did. And I say that with all sincerity. I really mean it. This has been the one tool in our tool bag that has really helped our marriage.
Numerous times.
I mean, too many times to count. It really has been just a blessing to hear about and learn about. And we really just want to help everyone who has heard of the Love and Respect book and series to, get a refresher, and everyone who hasn't, get an introduction. Mm-hmm. So we're just going to do an introduction tonight to Love and Respect by Dr. Emerson Eggerichs.
Yes, correct, by Dr. Emerson Eggerichs. But the good thing is if you're not married, these concepts work for communication between a female and a male. So whether that's your brother or a mom and a son, or maybe you have a boss that's the opposite sex as you, all of these concepts are going to be helpful to how you just communicate and interact with male or female.
And if you are believing to meet somebody, it will absolutely just level up your Riz, just that one notch right there. It'll probably get you good enough that God can find some. And Riz is like game.
We have teenagers.
Yeah, so yeah, they put me up on that. So it'll actually level you up that one notch. Well, it all begins in the beginning when God created them, male and female. This simple statement is the foundation of the whole love and respect marriage. God created them male and female. This fundamental difference that he created us different but equal is the design. It's all part of the plan. It's very liberating and freeing to know that we're different. And that's a good thing, and that's the way that it's supposed to be. And so you're going to hear a lot tonight about blue sunglasses. And you're going to hear a lot tonight about pink hearing aids. And you're going to hear a lot about blue megaphones. And all that is to say the filters and the processes by which those different people, both equal but different, male and female, interact with the world around them. It's by blue sunglasses for male, blue megaphone, and blue hearing aids. Right. Pink is for women.
Yep.
Pink megaphones.
So everything I would say or how I hear things, how I perceive things goes through my pink filter. So it's different. He might say one thing and I hear something a little different. Not what he meant, but what I heard. Right?
Yeah.
So we have a few examples. Ladies, when we go to our closet and say, I've got nothing to wear, we mean I've got nothing new or nothing that I want to wear. I have a lot of stuff in there, but I don't want to wear any of it tonight, right? That's what we mean.
And men, when we say we have nothing to wear, we mean there's nothing clean, right?
Right.
We're both saying the exact same thing, but it means something completely different.
Yes. Another thing you might hear women say sometimes is like, I'm fine. I'm fine. That is not what we mean.
Wait, let's try a quiz first. Min, does that mean what it means?
No.
No.
If she says I'm fine, normally it means I'm not fine. Please ask more clarifying questions because I need to tell you why I'm not fine. I need you to listen.
And men, when we say I'm fine, it means I'm fine.
I'm fine.
Yeah. All right, we're good.
So everything that men and women do comes from that filter of pink or blue, and it's imperative to keep this in mind when conflict arises, because conflict does arise, and you really have to have that in mind that you married someone you loved, a good-willed person. You married them, and they're not going to do or say things on purpose to go out and get you and mess you up and hurt you.
At least not from the
right?
start.
Right. So you really have to have those core understandings for the rest of this. So just pink and blue, keep that in mind. We'll probably hit on that a few times.
And all this is coming from a Bible background. Okay, it's coming from Ephesians 5:3. Do we have that slide? Can we put that up?
5:33.
Oh, thank you. 5:33. Ephesians 5:33. However, each one of you also must love, and the Greek word for love here is agape, his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must respect her husband. Now, what's really interesting about this phrase is it's in the imperative in the Greek, which means it's a command. And this is the NIV translation, and it really nails it when it says must. It's a command. God's telling you, hey, you want to succeed at this thing, you want to do well, you must agape his wife as he himself, and the wife must respect her husband. And this word agape, there's two words in Greek for love, and in another verse, wives are called to love their husbands. It's phileo. It's not agape. The difference between phileo and agape is phileo could be conditional love. Like, I love it that you're so awesome to me all the time. That's great. Agape is unconditional love. I love you no matter what. And here at Church 212, we have a saying, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Well, in this love and respect class, one way that husbands, you can look at this is that I love her, and there's nothing I can do about it. Because God commands us to love our wife, to love our wife. So we must love our wife. Husbands are to love your wife, and there's nothing you can do about it. You must unconditionally love your wife.
Amen. And this unconditional love, for women, the need for unconditional love, it's a need. It's something that, it's what Dr. Egrich says, it's like an air hose, right? And if you step on it and you're unloving to her, it's like she can't breathe, she can't function, you're cutting off the oxygen, right? So for women, unconditional love is a need. It's what she needs from you. It's what God designed. And for men, unconditional respect, it's their air hose. So when I do something disrespectful to him or say something disrespectfully to him, it's like I'm stepping on his air hose, right? So I'm impeding, I'm blocking life to him, really. So, just like a deep sea diver, you have to go down, and the most important thing they have is that air hose connecting them back to the boat, right? Anything comes, in line with that, if it gets tangled, the whole operation is done. They need oxygen, right? And the same thing with husband and wife. That is the way that you give life to your spouse, is by showing her love, and vice versa, by showing him respect.
Well, so we're used to the idea of unconditional love. It's something that we've heard quite a bit about, especially here at Church 212. I love you and there's nothing you can do about it. But at the same time, we haven't heard this term of unconditional respect a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, women, like you wouldn't have married the man unless you knew like he's going to love me no matter what, right? And your dad probably had to know that he's going to love you no matter what, right? Unconditionally, no matter what, this guy loves me. We're in love. But we really don't ever hear about his need for unconditional respect. Even if he does something that's not respectable, I am commanded to respect my husband, to show him respect, to honor him, and that is my command. Even if he messes up, I'm not doing it for him ultimately, right? I do want to give life to him through respect, but ultimately, Father God told me, respect your husband. And that's who I'm really being obedient to, because it's the hardest thing. I mean, and I've experienced this, every woman has, but you feel unloved, something happened and they shouldn't have done that, and there's no way I'm going to, like you roll your eyes, you do all the big things, and we get dramatic, and all of that is saying disrespect, disrespect, disrespect to him, right? So if I remember that God told me to respect this man, even if he's not acting respectable, if I can remember that and obey God and choose to alter my own reactions, my own actions, and act respectfully, even if I'm feeling unloved, then that's a huge step you can take.
And it's not like, you hear this once and then you're going to be good at doing it.
I'd say it's never easy to do.
No, it's absolutely never easy to do. But at the same instance, I mean, it would be completely unheard of for me to say to you that, oh, I don't love you right now because you're not being lovable. You're not being the cuddly, good-natured, happy person. I need you to be a certain way so that I can love you. I don't need to be a certain way for you to respect me. And that's kind of the difference there between those two things. It's unconditional love, and it's an unconditional respect. And so what happens, though, and this is the natural thing, and this is the pattern we want you all to see, and when I feel disrespected, I act unloving.
Yeah, and then I feel unloved, and then I behave disrespectfully back.
And I feel disrespected again, so I double down on acting unloving.
And then it goes in this cycle, right? So Dr. Emerson describes this as the crazy cycle, because it is crazy. You're just hurting each other over and over and over again. It's crazy.
And here's a quote from him. Without love from him, she reacts without respect. And without respect from her, he reacts without love. It's called this crazy cycle, and thousands of couples get locked into it every day with every kind of argument. And I know that you've all been there if you've been married for any time or you've been with, even took a car ride of a person of the opposite sex, honestly. Those differences between male and female can often come up very quickly. And, you can end up fighting and just not even remember what you're fighting about. Because ultimately what happens is the fight becomes about, you disrespected me.
Well, you were very unloving.
And that's what we're fighting about. The thing that started the crazy cycle makes no difference.
Right. You said something that through my pink earphones said this to me, right? You may have not said, maybe I tell him I don't have anything to wear. And he's like, you have tons of stuff to wear. Oh, my gosh, you're always spending money, right?
I can't fit my stuff in my closet because all the stuff you have. You buy stuff all the time.
My pink earphones are like, you don't want me to have anything nice, right? That's not what he said, but that felt unloving to me. So I might start yelling at him and assuming he doesn't want me to have anything and this and that. And then that goes into the disrespect. So it just starts this little cycle, and it really had nothing to do with that. It's just I felt unloved when he had a response to me saying, I don't have anything to wear. All I'm saying is I don't have anything new, right? But he didn't hear that because he has blue earphones, right?
And I'm disrespected every day. I got to dig through the forest of your clothes to find my stuff.
I really don't have that.
No, she
clothes.
doesn't. I'm making that up. But, one thing that we don't suggest and you won't hear preached is, you might hear it in other kind of marriage messages, but not this one. And this is part of the reason why I enjoy this one so much, is that we're never asking men, hey, put on your pink glasses. Hey, put on your pink head. No. We're never asking women, well, if you could just listen with some blue hearing aids every now and then. That's not what this is about.
No, God didn't design it that way.
God didn't design it that way. The knowledge that you're different, you've got blue ways of interacting with the world, and she's different, she's got pink ways of interacting with the world. Just that knowledge brings that understanding and that opportunity to figure out, hey, what do you really mean when you said that? Because I know you're a good-willed person, and so I know, that wasn't your intention, or was it? Clarify. Give me somewhere to go with it.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. It's about really saying that your blueness and my pinkness, we're both made in the image of God, right? So it's really the strength to do it together and blend that together and really reflect the Father and what he meant through marriage.
And since God did create us so different, it's part of his plan that we have conflicts. People think that that's crazy, but no, it's absolutely true. God designed your spouse to be married to you so that you can become a better married person, and you'd become a better married couple, reflecting his glory. There's a real nice color example that he uses quite a bit, that pink and blue make purple, the color of royalty, and reflect the glory of God. And that's true, but at the same time, us as individuals grow and change. I'm a much different person than I was even the night we first heard this message 12, 13 years ago. And we're always continuing to grow, and we want to grow together. So to give an example of how something silly can turn into the crazy cycle, we thought we'd act out one of our fights for you in front of church. Does that sound like fun? That sounds great until it doesn't work, right? Or it works too well. So
we had to choose carefully because rehashing old fights can be very triggering, we found. So
when we were youth pastors, we used to do skits all the time.
We're just doing a silly one. We really didn't get in a big thing about this, but okay.
Abel's asking for security. I don't think Frank's here tonight, man. All right. Oh, so glad to be home. Oh, it's a long day.
Hi.
Hey, what you watching?
The Crown.
Oh. What season? I don't recognize this one. What season is this?
They have a new season. It's
season 6. They have a new season?
Yeah.
Sweet. I love The Crown. All right. You're watching it without me?
Yeah. There was nothing else on. There was nothing else to watch.
Oh, that's all right. I mean, we can rewind it. How far in are you?
3 episodes.
You're 3 episodes in on The Crown? We watched this together. What are you doing?
I know, but I was home all day by myself and there was nothing else to watch.
But we watched this together.
You can't just watch one episode.
Well, you could, but I mean, I would if I was in your position. I'm just a lot more thoughtful than you are.
What are you saying?
Well,
no, I was bored. I needed to watch something.
Well, now I can't watch it. I mean, we can't.
Well, I'll just rewatch the other ones with you.
You are the worst at rewatching. I don't want to rewatch anything with you. You're like a walking spoiler. All you do is ruin everything with your gas and your breathing.
I do not.
And you'll leave at the unimportant issues, thinking about something else you got to do. No, you spoil everything. I'm not going to deal with that. No, fine. No.
You always say stuff like this that makes me so angry. I just needed to watch something. I can watch it with you.
So what now? You're mad at me for being mad? I have the right to be mad. You watch the show without me. This is our show. Whatever. I'm going to go watch it in the other room.
Okay. Now, to get off the crazy cycle, it just takes a little bit of perspective and thinking, right? And I do know that particularly for this show, that I did know he would want to watch it. I did. So me knowing this and accepting that, right? So it's just like, you know what? Hey. He likes to act way too much. I know that we watched this show together. I knew it when I pushed play. I knew you wouldn't be happy if you walked in seeing me watch it. I'm sorry. But I really didn't feel loved when you said that I always do this to you, that I'm like always ruining things. That's not cool.
Yeah, I only said that because I felt disrespected. Were you watching the show without me? But I didn't mean what I said. You don't spoil everything. You make everything better, which is why I'm mad that I didn't get to watch it with you the first time around because, well, you do make it worse if we watch it together. But that's not the point. It's that I'm sorry I said those things. I didn't mean it. I was unloving.
When you get to episode 4, can we watch it together from there?
I'll think about it. but yeah.
So it goes a little something like that, right? It's sometimes not so contrived, right? But and it's hard, right? I'm telling you, we've been repeating some of these, watching on YouTube and stuff, some of Dr. Eggerich's stuff, and he talked about holy fellowship or heated fellowship between husband and wife, right?
Heated fellowship means arguments. It doesn't mean the other kind.
Okay, and so yeah. So, so we've had some heated fellowship recently, and it's just really trying to hash out, well, that's not even what I even meant to say. Like, what are you hearing right now? We go in this like cycle, but it's so hard when you are upset, women. It's really hard not to roll your eyes or not to, yes, he doesn't deserve respect right now. I'm not going to respect him unless he says something loving to me or he apologizes. There's just no way. Not happening, right? And we always want that. But it's really important to be like, okay, listen, I knew that when I pushed play on The Crown, at some point that was going to come out and I was going to have to tell him and he wasn't going to be happy. I knew that, right? So I felt like it was on me to go and say, hey, I get it. I'll take this one. But it does take someone. And Dr. Emerson says, hey, who's the one responsible? Who should it be? Which one of you needs to be the one to jump off the crazy cycle by doing something loving or respectful to the other? And you know what he says? He says, the more mature one of you, jump off. Which is really challenging, right? Because that should mean like both of us want to do that. Because we both do. We're both good-willed people who married a good-willed person who we know does not want to hurt me, is not out to get me. They are my partner, my helpmate. They are my teammate. We are allies. We're on the same team, right? So what we do to get off the crazy cycle, and rather to prevent it, is really plant those seeds. Like we were talking about on Sunday, Pastor Stephanie was preaching about the soil, right? And the parable of the sower. And you need to do those respectful things. Even just if you're at dinner and you're talking to each other. I think it was a few weeks ago, and I just said something like, I really respect ABC that you did. Like, that really means a lot to me. And I know you're going to make decisions. I trust you make decisions, and it's going to look good for us because I know how you think and how you plan things out, right? And so you plant seeds of respect. You plant things, words of love. You show kindness to each other. And guess what that does? That creates a cycle as well. She shows respect. He feels respected. He shows love, right? She feels loved. She shows respect. And here you go on a beautiful cycle, right?
That's when things go good. You get on the good cycle. That's great. But I want to talk a little bit more back about how to get off the bad cycle. Sometimes you don't know exactly where things went wrong because you're in the heat of the moment. You've been arguing for, however long it takes for a while. And so what you do is you be honest with yourself and your feelings, and you just say, I felt really disrespected when you did X, Y, Z. And then she would go, well, I felt really unloved when you did, ABC. Well, before you did ABC, I felt disrespected when you... And so you wind the tape all the way back, and you get those feelings out, but you're not saying you're a jerk because you did this. You're not passing blame. You're saying about your feelings. I felt disrespected when you did this. Now, because of your pink megaphone, that's how my blue hearing aids heard it. And because of your pink hearing aids, that's how my blue megaphone sounded. And really, when you practice this and you rewind the tape and you go back and you just unwind the crazy cycle a little bit with being honest about how you felt when you felt disrespected and when you felt unloved, then what you find is it's usually a simple misunderstanding. Mm-hmm. It's just a simple pink or blue thing. Mm-hmm. And you go, really? When you said that, that's all you meant? Yeah. Oh, well, I can get over that. That's not a big deal. And then everything else that happened after that, it's no big deal. It's like you just rewound the tape and like it never happened.
Yeah.
And then you can start getting on the good cycle.
Yes. So there's a couple of, let me get to the right page here. Yeah, to prevent or get off the crazy cycle, Matthew 26:41 says, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak, right? So easier said than done, right? It's really hard because when you're in a heated conversation with your spouse, it does take all of your spirituality and knowing what the word says to do. It takes everything in you to act according to the word instead of according to how you feel, right? 'Cause sometimes it just feels good to let it out, right? And it's just important to know that that's just your flesh. But you have the word of God on the inside of you, and it is stronger. And if you really do follow the word and act on the word, and you show that love and respect, because the Bible says we must, right? If we follow those commands, we're really going to see our marriage start to shape and form into how God designed it.
Because we're going to have the conflict. We're going to get upset. But if we follow, God's word here and follow his instructions, we must love our wives and we must
respect our husbands.
Yeah.
So there's some acronyms that Dr. Emerson Eggerichs uses to help wives and husbands know how to show love and how to show respect.
I'll sit down for this part.
All right, so I'm going to speak to the women about men for a moment.
Can we put this next slide up?
Yeah, I think we have this one's the chairs. Yeah, do this one. Okay, so wives, here's some of the things that we can do to make our husband feel respected. So conquest, if we remember the acronym CHAIRS, C is for conquest. Appreciate his need to work and achieve. Men need to know that they've achieved something, they are accomplishing something. So speak to those things. You worked so hard today. How can I help you relax tonight? Things like that. Hierarchy, appreciate his desire to protect and provide. Comment, your husbands take care of your family really well. They are looking out for you and for your protection and for your good. Acknowledge those things when you see that happening, or even when you don't, if you just recall a memory of like, oh my gosh, I felt so safe when you did that for us. Thanks for doing that. Authority, appreciate his desire to serve and to lead. Insight, appreciate his desire to analyze and counsel. Relationship, appreciate his desire for shoulder-to-shoulder friendship. This is a piece of the book and a piece of the training that always stuck with me. Dr. Emerson talks about how women need face-to-face relationship, right? Face-to-face communication, face-to-face, like we want that, right? That helps us feel like intimate with whoever we're talking to, like we feel more connected. I've got your eye contact. I know what your face is saying to me. That's important to us. But for men, it's shoulder to shoulder. And you might find that your husband like talks more and opens up his heart more when like you're in the car on a road trip, or if he's sometimes for shoulder to shoulder time, like my husband, he'll work on motorcycles or cars or stuff like that, and I'll go out into the garage. Do I care about what he's doing in the car? No, not really. But I'm having that shoulder to shoulder time with him and just being there for moral support, or I'll grab the tool he asks for, hopefully the right one, or I'll hold the flashlight or things like that. But that's the shoulder to shoulder time. Okay, and that's just saying, hey, I care about what you're doing out here, and I want to spend time with you while you're doing it, and just have conversation that way. So that's relationship. And then sexuality, appreciate his desire for sexual intimacy. That's obviously a need that they have. And so that's an important part, which we won't cover tonight, but that's an important part too. So just remember chairs, because those are really key areas that if you feed into that, you acknowledge those areas, that is really going to build and develop that feeling of respect for him. And then you're going to do the other set?
Yeah, I'll do the other side. Do you want to sit down?
Yeah.
Okay, take a break. All right, for husbands, remember couple, ways to love your wife well. Closeness, intimacy. I don't know what that's all about, but I wish you luck. No, just kidding.
It's like, come hang out with me, right?
Yeah.
You've been doing good at this. He plays chess a lot, and so sometimes he'll be just like doing chess quite a lot. And so he's doing that on the computer, and then he'll stop, and he'll come find me, and I'll be like, hey, how was your day? What was it? Well, how was that? What'd she say? What happened here? And then he'll get up and go away. And I felt like, okay, all right. So he came in to check in with me. Good, that's good.
I learned something tonight.
Closeness.
Closeness is open-ended questions. It's part of my sales training.
For me it is.
So ask open-ended questions. That'll help with closeness. It's great. Openness through conversation, trust. It goes back to being a good-willed person, trusting that your wife's a good-willed person, trusting that you don't want to be in this fight, and trusting that there's a way through it if we talk about our feelings openly, and that's that openness, not closing off. I know that when you read through the book, and there's a lot of great resources on the stuff online, I want to encourage you guys to look at the YouTube videos. The person who wrote it himself has at least a 3-part series, each like 50 minutes, where he uses all of his clinical terms and all of his knowledge and wisdom and just really lays out the whole book and everything. And of course, there's the book and the workbook and all that great stuff. But just whatever your comfortability level with, check it out. It's a really great resource. But that's all to say that you want to have this understanding, because men, what are we? We're fixers. You bring a problem, we fix it. Whatever the problem is, we're here to provide knowledge, answers, and experience, right? So sometimes they don't want that.
I don't want that.
I don't know why. It would help. But if you just listen, sometimes that fixes things too. So just think of it that way. If I just listen, it'll fix itself. So just listen there, understanding. Peacemaking. Apologize quickly and sincerely when you mess up. It goes back to that maturity part of it. We're sometimes the cooler heads. In our relationship, she's usually the cooler head. And that's the kind of the bell curve of the research and everything. Because something we haven't really talked about is that women also need respect. Okay, they do. RESPCT, find out what it means to them. But it's actually a guy that wrote that song first. She stole it from him. But anyway, it's important. Women also need respect. It's just, and men also need love. That's absolutely something that both sides need. But when asked, I think it was something like 75-25, which one was more important? Mm-hmm. Women had love more important, and men had respect more important. Universally through all the studies. So peacemaking, apologize quickly and sincerely when you mess up. That goes to that maturity, just realizing, hey, wait a second, I'm on the crazy cycle. And that's something that, this month we're doing a marriage month. We're doing around, and every Wednesday this month we're doing marriage. And our theme is marriage mechanics or marriage pit stop. And so our idea is, like a check engine light. I don't know about y'all, but I've had some cars where the check engine light was on for so long that it turned off because the bulb burnt out. The engine did not get any better. The bulb burned out, and then it was off. And some of you may have been in some long relationships where it feels like, oh, man, I've been in this relationship so long, I'm just used to driving around with that light on. Well, the check engine light is the love and respect and the crazy cycle, just realizing, hey, wait a second, we're not fighting about the thing I thought we were fighting about. We're fighting about something different. And I'm mostly angry and upset because I felt disrespected. And she's mostly upset because she felt unloved. So let's wind this thing back and figure that out. Loyalty, needs to know you're committed. She has a need to feel safe and secure. A former pastor, one of my favorite things he said is, the word divorce never happens in our marriage. Murders come up a few times, but divorce isn't one of the things. I feel that it really helps to know that God made you different fundamentally and then put you together, and it's for your good. And there's going to be conflict, and it's not fun, but just knowing that means that you didn't marry the wrong person.
Right.
Means that there's not someone better out there for you.
Right.
You're in God's perfect will, and getting through it is what he's looking for you to do.
Amen.
Esteem. So she feels honored and cherished. You're such a Proverbs 31 woman. Oh, right? It goes something like that, feels honored and cherished. All right, so couple.
So that is, that's the majority. We want to just remind everybody that Love and Respect has a website full of podcasts and books and resources. It's an amazing, they've really renewed it recently. So that is available. There's free stuff on YouTube with Dr. Emerson Eggerichs. We would highly recommend it. Again, like you said, when you listen to him say all the stuff we've said, it clicks. He's been doing it for so long. He has all of the background, all of the statistics, all of his doctoral stuff is in there. And so it's really amazing stuff. And like we said, it has helped us over and over again.
Do we have one more slide?
Yeah, that's the one.
So we wanted to finish with this. 1 Corinthians 7:28. Those who marry will have worldly troubles. I mean, there it is right there in the Word of God. If you're having troubles, it doesn't mean you shouldn't be married. It doesn't mean that's going to fix anything. It means that you're going through it, and it's going to be good for you in the end. Because God made you male and female. He created you to have conflict and intends that the two of you use the conflict to deepen your mutual understanding of one another. Is this fun to go through? No, it isn't. But you can trust that it's his will, and conflict doesn't mean you're outside the will of God, and it doesn't mean that you married the wrong person. Right. So when you guys see that check engine light of the crazy cycle, hey, wind it on back. Get out your tools. Get out your love and respect tool. I know if I get a check engine light, I put my scanner on it. My little scanner tells me, hey, what the problem with the car is. The love and respect message will do the same for you. It'll show you, hey, where we went wrong and how do we fix it.
Right. All right, before I pray, I want to remind everyone to keep your raffle tickets. Does anyone have any questions that popped up while you were listening? Yes.
Just like that.
Yes. Sometimes you can. So he said, he's usually the more animated one. And so sometimes I'll have to wait for the right moment. And it might be the end of the day, and it might be tomorrow, but I'll need to find a better place to insert that, right? And it'll be like, hey, you remember earlier this morning you said that? That's been bothering me all day. I really felt unloved. And just be specific, because you really want them to know what words or how they said it, or when sometimes it's just a body expression, right? When you crossed your arms at me and then slammed the fridge, I really felt unloved, right? But do it at a time where they can hear, right? Because sometimes our message, we can put it out there, but it won't be heard because of when we're saying it, right? Or how we're saying it. So make sure that you're calm enough to present that to them too, and you know that you're not being disrespectful, that you're approaching them with respect. Hey, I need you to listen to me right now. Remember earlier, I really felt unloved when you did this.
Because when men are angry, it sometimes feels like women are crying, or they say something like that. It seems almost, at least for me, it feels almost manipulative, like you're trying to control me, like you're trying to, get your way or something like that. So that's why it's important to wait for the right time, so that I have ears to hear that.
And sometimes to say, I don't need you to respond right now. I just wanted to let you know, and I needed to tell you. Right? And so for us as women, it's okay to not have a response right away and give them that freedom to be like, I just needed to say this thing. So that you just have to watch your timing and do it at a time where you're not in this sense of anger, right? Because then it really won't come out the way you want it to. It won't be heard the way you want it to either. Anyone else? Yes.
Oh yeah, that absolutely is a thing. Like someone will be like, "Hey, let's pump the brakes and rewind the crazy cycle." Be like, "Oh no, you haven't seen crazy yet. I'm working up to crazy right about now." Yeah,
It's a real life. I think the more you know about your spouse and the more you have communicated what feels like disrespect to you and what feels like unloving to me, because that'll be different for different women, right? And different for different men.
Yeah.
So the more you do communicate about these things, you start to like realize, remember that conflict helps you know each other better, right? So every time you solve a conflict, you'll know better, oh, now's not the right time. You'll know, okay, I can tell by the way he's sitting at his desk, he's not ready. He's not ready for that, right? So, and vice versa. You get to know each other even more every time you guys work through a conflict. And the next conflict, you'll know that much more about timing and, and when and why and how.